Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, I want to get started with GitHub, how to use it, how to clone, how to create different branches, and basically how to deal with GitHub, everything to do with it. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that you do have an account to GitHub. In order to create an account, all you need to do is simply type in GitHub, and you can go to, I'll actually just type it like this. You can just go to the first one. It's completely free to use, and it's actually very easy to use as well. Now, I'm already logged in, so it will take me to a page similar to this. But for you, you might first need to create an account and then log in, and you'll be able to view this page. What I'll be doing is I'll be starting with creating an entirely new repository, and then we're going to be installing or cloning that repository into my local machine. We're going to be creating a branch, and then we're also going to be pushing onto GitHub. So to do that, the first thing I'll be doing is I'll be clicking on New. And here you get to give your repository a name. It can be any name you want. For example, over here, I will say GitHub tutorial. I tend not to give spaces. In fact, I'm not too sure if you can actually give a space. You can, but I do not include any spaces. You can give it a description. Here you can choose for it to be a public repository or a private one. Public meaning anyone on the internet. So I'll keep this public. You can, and you will be able to just go on that repository and actually add your files onto it. If you choose private, then only people that you invite will be able to view it. I'll keep everything else the same. However, you can actually include things that you can ignore, and we can get into that a little bit later. And then finally, you can also add a README file. And a README file is just basically an instruction file that if someone else clones your repository, they're able to view it and they're able to understand what your repository is about. I'm actually going to click it, and all I need to do now is click on Create Repository. Now it'll take a few seconds, but it's all very quick, and you can see that right now my repository is empty. It has a README file that is empty, it just has the title. It's got one branch, which is main, and you can see it says here one branch, and right now we didn't clone it. Now what I want to do is I want to be able to clone this onto my local machine. And the best way to do this, or the easiest way to do this, is using an app called GitHub Desktop. I'll leave the link in the description for GitHub Desktop, that way you can download it. I'm using a Mac on Apple Silicon, so I selected this option to download, but you can select any other option depending on your device. So what I'll do is, now that I have it over here, what I'll do is I'll simply search up GitHub Desktop. And you'll see that at the moment I'm logged in already. Again, you might just need to log in, but if I go ahead here and want to clone a repository, all I'll need to do is click on Add. And here I've got three options. I can either create a new repository on my local machine that's still not on GitHub. I can clone a repository from GitHub onto my local machine, which is what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and select it, and I'm going to refresh. And you'll see that all of these are GitHub repositories that I either worked on or have saved. The one that we want is called GitHub tutorial. So I'm going to select it. And then over here, it will say local path. So where would I like to save this GitHub repository? And I want to save it on my desktop inside a folder called projects, and then inside GitHub tutorial. So let's go ahead and click clone. And you can see that now I'm on the main branch, which is the same as GitHub over here. And you can see that I don't have any changes at the moment. Let's go ahead and open GitHub and open that project. So I'm going to go to desktop, and then I'll go to projects, and we will find GitHub tutorial. So now it's actually on my local machine. I can do work there, I can do anything. And what I want to do is I want to add a file there. Now that can be a programming file, it can be a video, it can be some code, it can be anything. So to do this, all I will do is I will simply open text edit. I'll create a new document, and all I'll say here is hello GitHub. This is our first file. Now I'm going to save this. And where I will save it is, I'm actually going to go ahead and save it inside that repository that I just saved. So in desktop, projects, GitHub tutorial, and let's give it the name GitHub or we can just say first file, and I'll save. Once that saves there, I'm going to go ahead and just close everything. We can see that on my local machine it exists. And if we just give it a few seconds, you can see that GitHub now is saying that we have a new file added. And this is what that file has. It says, hello GitHub, this is our first file. Now what I can do now is that I can create a commit. And what commit means, it means that I get to save those onto my repository. But then if I want to upload it basically online, I need to do something called a push. First, we need to commit and we need to give it a title. So I can say initial commit, and I'm going to click commit. And after that, straight away, it says push origin. So if I go ahead and click on push origin, it takes a few seconds. But now, if I go ahead and refresh the online version, you'll see that the message that I created, which simply said initial commit, is there. And you'll see that just now we created that new file. And if I click on it, everyone else will be able to view that file. Now, if anyone else online, you would like to have a look at this, you can simply go and click on this link. I'll leave it in the description, and you'll actually be able to view the file that I added. And a good practice is maybe clone this on your device as well and upload or change things to it. Just get used to it. This was the first tutorial. What I'll do now is I'm going to end this tutorial, and in the next tutorial I'll be showing you how you can create different branches and what branches even are. For now, you learned how to commit, how to push, how to clone a repository, and I think that's it for this tutorial. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon in the next episode.